So we'll just let you. I just want you to introduce yourself, who you are, your background, where you were born, and just give our viewers a little introduction to yourself, and then we'll go into more details. That's okay.
Yes, of course. I mean, I would expect a lot of curiosity. Um, I was I was born on Earth, born being relative, because it's along the lines of a test tube baby,
Mhm.
okay, except with CRISPR engineering. So I was born on Camp Lejeune. In utero, I was exposed to 83 times the safe amount of radiation. That is why I'm not human. And it's not just from genetics, because let's break it down what people want to know. Yes, the Anunnaki are born on Earth.
Okay.
Okay, historically, biblically, we were called Anakim and sons of Anu or sons of Anuk. And it isn't just Mesopotamia. This is how you're going to be able to tell a difference between people giving you false messages and us. If they're out there saying, well, there's a fight for Earth and they're fighting for who owns Earth and da 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 da. Excuse me, we've been here a while and it's our planet. The planet is named after Ea, Ea Enki, grammar, man. EA period RTH, Earth means Ea the mighty. So other messages you might get about individuals fighting over Earth is wrong.
Mhm.
Earth is named. It belongs to the Anuna. And again, to get very technical, you cannot own a planet. A planet is a species, a planet you work with. So anybody coming in talking about how they're going to take Earth is ridiculous. So that part is it. Some immediate things that need to be debunked. One, there is no reptilian war. Two, I don't know what the deal with these Pleiadians are, but no one has made contact with the Anuna about anything. And we have an automated station base, not base, space station. Sorry, my
Mhm.
languages get mixed up. We have an automated space station that has been in orbit since before they left. I don't understand where any other alleged federation or species would not make contact via protocol. So when I hear these individuals popping out with this illogical paradigm, you need one of the Anakim to come up and say, no, it's in your history. It's all over the planet. It's not just Mesopotamia. We did not start from Africa. Okay, that's just genetics. Okay, let's be clear. Science is science. Genes are genes, and it doesn't pop up and suddenly go blue eyes, white hair, red hair with dark African skin. Highly illogical. And I want to make sure very clearly you will know who is right and who is incorrect by the message. Nobody comes across multiple galaxies to tell you how precious and special you are, and we're here just to sit and stalk you. Okay, who sits up there for thousands of years and then says non-interference policy, but you're God ascending. Everything's going to be love, light, fairy tales, and rainbows. Hey, people were taught stranger danger. They're offering candy and lies and no evidence. This is not about ascension. This is nobody pops over to help you ascend and says non-interference. Illogical. Words and actions must align. They will not sound human like me. I sound like this because I grew up on Earth. Okay. Over time, this happens. So we've been here thousands of years. Essentially, it's a family. And I just realized I have not talked about, I don't like to talk about myself. I'm sorry, I bypass it. We've been here thousands of years, and it's not, you know, a few thousand. My family technically is connected to the Sumerian kings list, which means we've been here minimum 423,000 years. So no, it's not new. And in the aspects of colonization, because I am the descendant of a colony, there are many others on Earth like me, all different degrees. So yes, you're going to be speaking to somebody as verifiable as I am. And this is where we'll segue in me.
So how many is there on Earth at the moment?
Well, there are at least 9 surviving bloodlines, and I'm trying to find the other bloodlines. There were 10 princes who survived.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bringing this back, the survival is an impact event that triggered the Younger Dryas. That was a double ice age.
Mm-hmm.
There were 10 kingdoms of what you would call Atlantis. Okay, Atlantis covered almost the entire planet. It didn't start in one place, but the capital was the Arctic Circle. Okay, from there, the kingdoms were divided. After the impact event, people refugeed out and headed south. We didn't start in Mesopotamia. Yes, Eridu was built there because it was tropical. It wasn't a sandy environment. We're talking 420,000 years ago. It wasn't the same. So Eridu has been found. Those ruins do exist, and the Temple of Enki stands today. Now, in the magnitude of the timeline, we're talking potentially something built over 400,000 years ago. And that is in itself, archaeologically, that's unbelievable to think something that old would still be standing. So,
sure. So what caused the impact event? You're saying that the Younger Dryas. What's the catalyst?
Well, they were tracking it. There's astrolabes that show the calculations of these asteroids they were tracking out of the Sagittarian dwarf galaxy. And it seems to be that we're going through the asteroid belt of Tiamat, which is, it used to be the 4th planet in this system. Tiamat was impacted by an asteroid, which was a stellar core of a planet, but an asteroid. That stellar core was dense enough to hit, to impact straight down Earth. This planet is the last remnant of Tiamat. It was the largest surviving piece. So it's special like that because we used to colonize it. So no, they weren't from Tiamat. No, they're not from Capricorn. No, they're not from Pleiades. They are very distinctly and clearly from Taurus. That is why there's bulls everywhere. The sacred bull, the heavenly bull. They told people where they're from. Taurus. Didn't hide it.
Yeah, so Mithraic religion, Mithras. That was based on the bull.
They have that connection with constellations. So yeah, it's not that they worship the bull, we're from Taurus. We're gonna put the bull everywhere. People do with baseball hats and sports teams. So yes, they were from Taurus. That's why it's called the heavenly bull. It's also why Enki is referred to, not why, but I'm sorry, I'm realizing I still skipped over. I was born on Camp Lejeune, like I said. It was necessary to keep everything quiet. The Annunaki consider it a type of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find this word. keeping me uncontaminated. And they will do this for all descendants of royal genealogies, because they have this big thing about purity, and corruption of any type is not acceptable. So that's another thing you need to pay attention to. Other alleged aliens, corruption is not acceptable. So if you have an individual who says he comes from Pleiades, for example, and says you should just be running around corrupting everything, acting, everybody knows a moral center. You know when something is not right. There's nobody who looks, I'm sorry about the United States, I'm sorry, Americans, but there's nobody who looks at the United States and thinks, oh yeah, they have their stuff together. Nobody thinks that. Not even the Americans. Okay, this and calling us Babylon is insulting to Babylon. It is that bad. Okay, so no, this is not the way of life. It is not about life in existence. It's not about finding your happiness, feeding selfish needs. That is not the way. I'm sorry, I don't have a better way to put that. So it's not the way. People are not here to indulge in whatever they want. No species is. The Annunaki don't get to do that. It's not about self-entitled narcissism. Life is about learning lessons and gaining those experiences so that you can grow. You don't grow when life is easy. People don't change when they're happy. They change when they're miserable. They change when they hate it. That's when they change. So no, you're not sitting here to be happy and la and love, light, and happiness. That's a crock. You're being sold a con job. What you are here to do is learn how to handle and cope with difficult emotions, because when you are non-corporeal, you got a straight hard line to the universe and existence. And your thoughts become actions. Emotionally unstable people dealing with trauma should not have a hard line to manifestation. A soul is powerful. A damaged soul is destructive. We come here into three-dimensional to cut people off from their abilities because, and I mean, that's nature, to cut people off from their abilities, because when you're working through hard things, imagine being enraged and having the power of all of that and deciding, screw it, let everybody die because I'm mad. You can't do that. You have to tone it down, come into a 3D reality type of existence. And no, I'm not doing that dimensional game. You come into this physical reality so that you can work through things that have hurt you or learn to experience things, including pain. Life is experience.
Okay. How old were you when you discovered that you was part of the Anunnaki, and do you have any like enhanced abilities?
Oh, let me answer that first. Okay. In December 2019, Enki and a few other guys came to me. And I've grown up with partial amnesia most of my life. So these guys came to me, and I want to be very clear. I didn't believe in aliens. I'm not kidding you. I had no idea, none. And these guys pop up with these very long heads. And I'm sitting there looking at them going, what kind of other kin are you? I understood I was an elf. I know how that sounds. That's how I grew up. Yes, I'm a royal elf. Don't tell anybody. Okay, that's crazy. You're crazy. And I went about my life. So in 2019, they took me to, at first, it looked like just a board. I don't think boardroom's correct, but it looked like a base room where you hold meetings. So it was underground. It was at a base. Most of it was very cement looking. It wasn't comfortable. It's not meant to be. And Enki and Nimhirsiga did something to my brain. I was awake. They were talking about how it was a muddled mess and the antenna couldn't receive something or other. And they did something and I started to go into a seizure. Whatever happened after that, I started remembering. And with the amnesia, it became a thing of, okay, your brain doesn't recognize this is how it should be. And it's looking for those memories. So instead, it went, fine, I can't get memories here. Let's go backwards. And started remembering previous incarnations down the line. And I kind of left it to that. I mean, what do you say to people? I remember being this person. It doesn't help. So anyway, after they picked me up, they kept me up there for 6 months. And as far as physical oddities, during this time, I had a belly button piercing. And I started waking up previously with bruises, injection marks, hand marks. And one morning I woke up and that belly button piercing that I had had for a year was gone. I still have the scar. It looks like it was ripped out. But when I woke up, there's no blood in the room and the piercing was on the bed. Still have that scar. My husband was alive at the time. And he was an Army mortarman. And he had served Bosnia and Iraq. And so he was tending to my health. We didn't have any other options for that. So in the aspect of the enhanced question, it's not in some way of thinking like Superman, superhero, what is that guy? Captain America. I'm pretty sure. At any rate, Enki is a geneticist, and he's a bit of a Dr. Frankenstein at that. So apparently he's had this idea to resurrect Tiamat. They preserve the genetics of ancient species, especially ancestors, because it's sacred. For mankind was engineered with the genetics of Kingu, which was the general to Tiamat, the queen, not the planet. So mankind, and trust me, this took 10,000 years. Mankind was engineered with Kingu. Everybody on the planet has some of Kingu in them to varying degrees. This is part of why everybody on this planet is hybrid. Everybody. And it's not just, I realize everybody's going, well, everybody wants the human hybrid. One, you're not human. You're mankind. You're a Damu. Okay. Two, you guys don't even talk to the humans. The big hairy guy who lives in the woods. He's Apkalu. That is the first one who was made. Call him Bigfoot. He's older than you. They are telepathic, yes. They were made before the Annuna. Before the Annuna. They were made by Tiamat, their queen, who was also a geneticist.
Sorry, I've missed something. What's TMI?
Tiamat is Anu's grandmother, great-grandmother. I think she's a great-grandmother. So King Anu, his grandmother, great-grandmother, was Queen Tiamat. And she's the one who engineered all of the Apkalu, who are referred to as angels. There's a bit of telephone game when it comes to the history. So the angels, as you call them, if you go through your descriptions, it's been pushed together. It's muddled together. Okay. It's not a nefarious thing. So in the descriptions of angels, you have one with the face of a lion. You have one with the face of a man. You have one with the face of a bull. And why do I always forget one? Lion, man, bull, eagle. Eagle. Okay. Those are the Ajiji. You know, the eagle-headed statues or gomdis. I'm sorry, I'm having language issues. I speak a few different languages. So when you look at the pictures of the Ajiji, you have the lion-headed Ajiji. You have the eagle-headed Ajiji. You have the minotaur, the bull-headed Ajiji. You have the face of the man. That is the Bigfoot. He is the Apkallu with the face of the man. It was pushed together because, I mean, practically, you don't have a creature whose head spins on a pivot to show you 4 different faces. That is an irrational explanation, but it does sound like where history got pushed together. So if we play a game of telephone, you have descriptions in the description of the angels that is part Apkallu or Ajiji, whichever word you want, and part technology. Because a probe is a ball that flies in the air with 1,000 eyes. That's technology. So yeah, a lot of the biblical narrative has been pushed together. And when you pull it out and you look at the description, you go, oh, that's the Ajiji. Even the stories, not story, even the description of the dragon with 7 heads. That would be the 7 different species of the Ajiji. And the dragon is the dragon bloodlines. That was the old term for the descendants from Atlantis who refugeed out. They were referred to as dragon bloodlines. That is why the entire world knows about dragons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Just go back to your enhanced powers that Matt asked about. Do you have any? What are they?
I'm not going to say enhanced. We have natural. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to turn into because at any rate, okay, in our family, in the history, we are documented clairvoyants. The advantage of the genealogy is that they chose me because, not because I'm special per se, but because historically we are documented as clairvoyants. We served in the temple of Apollo. We were oracles of Delphi. So this comes down genetically, not enhanced. It's a foundation. So if you want to know specifically for me, I have passive abilities. That means clairvoyance, meaning I have visions. Mm-hmm. Clairsentient, clairaudient. For those not familiar with those terms, clairsentience is that you hear a lot of people term it as the knowing or downloads. Dude, you're clairsentient. And why these other alleged people are not telling and explaining psychic abilities in proper function instead of telling people to sit down and meditate is very frustrating.
So do you have a mission? Is there a mission? Is there a reason you said you was a test tube and you was created that way? What's the purpose of it? Have you got a mission in mind?
Oh, I don't have a mission direct like that. What I have is our family upholds a different covenant than I'm going to use biblical a lot here because you guys are familiar with that. Please understand, I'm not Christian. I'm not of any of those belief systems. So with that said, on the biblical, after Noah built a bunch of arks, tried to warn people, did the whole thing that you already know that story. He went up the mountain, went to the top of the mountain, spoke with not one, but two gods. Okay, Il was one. And that was awkward. On the top of that mountain, a covenant was made between them and my family in perpetuity. Now, that covenant was basically that the descendants would rebuild civilization. This is why we hold title. That is the agreement we hold. That is our covenant. If I do not at least try and warn people that this is about to get very bad, then I break the covenant and I shame my house, my ancestors, and our legacy. So one, I have to do this. Whether I want to or not, I have to try and tell people there's a storm coming. You need to prep. Don't give your money to anybody. You know, these people charging you for lectures, the UFO community that is breadcrumbing you, even though we have been here full well and good under the knowledge of every government. They are bilking you for your money. Do not give them your money. Take it and buy prep supplies. Take care of your people.
Can you go into more detail about this storm that's coming?
Yeah, you can see it right now. You don't need to wait. Okay, the sun, let's start there. The sun has the largest coronal hole facing the planet in documented, recorded history. This last time we saw this scenario was 12,000 years ago. So looking at right now, okay, what we have is volcanic activity coupled with earthquakes and everything you're seeing going on. So this is the way it works. The coronal activity off the star is going to magnify and intensify the volcanic eruptions, which couple hand in hand with earthquakes. The poles have already reversed. It's not coming, it's here. The magnetic field is reversing. The weather and jet stream destruction, to put it lightly, cannot be overstated. This will in fact affect the entire planet. And I mean not an if, and, or, but. It is here now. I am trying to do calculations for Yellowstone. Right now, Antarctica had an 8.0 earthquake. The Cascadia subduction zone has an underwater volcano that has been rambling along. And as of yesterday, Alaska had a 7.3. When you triangulate that with the activity going on in Yellowstone, that says pay attention. In the next 4 days, it's about to get bad.
Wow. Okay, so like the last one, you said Noah built these arks. There was what, 200 of them, was there? Something like that?
120.
Okay.
He
so
was a king. He had time.
Okay, so what do we do this time? The same thing's going to happen again. Do we build arcs or do we go to the Appalachians? Because I heard that's the place to go.
That is one of a few. Okay, one, depending on where you are. Okay, Appalachians are United States, and it's not just the Appalachians, it's Appalachians and Rockies. In the UK, find higher ground. It's going to flood. I mean, I think about half of the United States is currently flooding. So it's not, you know, maybe one day, it's here and now.
I have to say, I did see the footage of the Texas flood, and that does not make any sense how that happened so quickly. I've seen that footage live on the video. It's insane.
It's insane.
And New York and New Jersey and Florida, and it is all over. The waters are rising because, and there is, look, it doesn't need to be a religious thing. It really doesn't. I got the atheists covered too. The moon is wobbling. As the sun's activity increases and the earthquakes increase, it's like taking a plate. The tectonic plates are shaking like this. Okay. The Juan de Fuca plate and the United States plate is sitting like this. As we are in slow slippage and the earthquakes continue to shake, that will shake up the magma. That will shake up everything underneath, including the placements of the water tables, causing them to shift, bringing it to the surface. If you go to the FEMA website, you see that the moon is wobbling. The planet is changing its axial tilt. It was hit very hard, and this is the planet correcting. The planet needs to do what the planet needs to do. The people on the surface got to figure it out. So this is where I'm going. I'm keeping this as a loose outline because people need to be able to adapt to their environment, find caves, find tunnels. Look underground as your biggest priority. I don't see a single reason why the governments of this planet cannot stop bickering, come together, and save their people. There are underground bases, in the United States alone. What it was, 21 billion they spent on underground bases from the period of Bush. Okay, excuse me, I got a bunch of people here who need shelter. If the governments will not step up, the Annuna will. And that's
what would that look like? What would it look like if the Anu step in?
I requested a colony ship. The colony ship essentially is going to look like a Death Star. Should be about 3/4 the size of the moon. Yeah, I know, the fiction stuff. But the colony ship theoretically should be able to hold a large populace of people for roughly 2 weeks. We cannot go longer than that because of human biology. This is why we can't snatch people up and drop them on another planet. You're just not made that way. Everybody is bonded to Earth. We need the frequency. If we leave the planet, you start to atrophy. Okay, it is that quick. Astronauts go into space. They cannot walk when they come back. We can't pop you off and just put you on another planet and say it's going to work. Everybody would have to be genetically altered. So no, it's not a viable plan, and people telling you that are lying to you.
Okay, so who knows in the world governments that this is what's happening? Who knows the truth, the reality?
How many governments are prepping? How many governments have underground bases? How many governments are leaking out secret technology like, artificial meat production? Biobeds, yes, they are real. They do exist and they've already been made. 3D scanners. Okay, they're telegraphing what they're doing. You have people suddenly disappearing, just people coming back reversed in age. They have been going, you could even get down to the Bill Gates thing. Okay, he's pushing fake food so bad, and no, don't eat it, it's not good for you. Okay, the microplastics, it's insane. It will literally alter your DNA. They're pushing this stuff because the surface won't be viable. This is how it happened last time. It was about 1,000 years. Everybody built underground. Turkey is the best example. There are tunnels underneath every single continent because they lived there. There were cities. We have LiDAR technology. There is no reason. And that's, I'm sorry. This is getting closer. And the closer it gets, you're going to feel more neurological effects. Okay, this isn't going to be something you're going to be wondering about or reaching for.
Could this be to do with the timing that they are really confident now they've just found one of Noah's Arks in Turkey on top of that mountain?
They didn't just find that. That was found decades ago. That's not been a secret.
Yeah, but they think now that is exactly what was basically in the Bible. Do you think it's connected to what you're saying?
As far as what's about to happen, no. For what's about to happen, this is bottom line. This is an extinction level event coupled with an evolutionary event. The species of Earth are about to change because human DNA does not survive this level of radiation. It doesn't mean you're going extinct, but it doesn't mean you're going to be not quite human. You're going to be a little more like me. So that's what this is. That's why they're here. They are not going to come and tell you it's a consciousness event. They are going to come and tell you we're in trouble. You need to get underground. You need to grab some supplies. You need to prepare for legacy level prep, because we don't know how viable the surface is going to be after that. And this is what happened historically. This is why we're here. In physics, it is called the cycle of destruction. This happens every 12,000 years. It's not because humans are burning the house down, even though they are, but it's not about that. They're not being punished. This is a cycle event. We'll talk about, the morality later, but let's.
I just want to ask, if you're saying that the world governments, world leaders are aware, then why would they waste billions of resources fighting wars that are going to be pointless in the end if they're going to grab a bit of land in the Crimea? Why would they do that?
See, war is war has its handiness. If you want to change the policies of an entire country, if you want to make money, go to war. Mm-hmm. It is fantastic manipulation of the people, weaponized propaganda, get their patriotism up, and, tell them, oh, this person's the enemy. People like having enemies. This person's an enemy. Oh, the reptilians are going to eat you. Mm-hmm. That's such a crock. I mean, that's along the lines of Santa Claus.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, okay, I've got that. I just want to tie into, because, obviously we are UFO researchers. What is the current situation? Because people are seeing all sorts of things in the sky, UFOs, orbs, maybe drones. How does that tie in with this, or does it not?
Evacuation. They're not popping out to be all, look, we're here and you're about to become a better species who's going to ascend the fifth dimension. Dude, I don't even know who started that. Anyway, they're evacuating because you guys know about the ocean. There is a deeper water ocean, of course. There's a deeper ocean under that. We called it the Absu. You guys just figured out it's there. It is much bigger. But the Absu and the deep ocean, the environments are destabilizing. This is why you have the ocean life that are doomsday fishes or megalodons or things we've never seen that are massive coming up to the surface. The environment is getting too hot. I want to say acid, but I don't think that's right. Either way, the water is changing. And now that the salinity, you're seeing basically the beginnings of that. So they're evacuating. That's what they did last time. They evacuated.
So who is they? Just narrow that down.
Multiple species.
Right.
Earth is not just the Annunaki, not just the Annuna. There were multiple species part of the colony. Okay, about 5 different grays, five variations of elongated skulls. If you look in Egypt, you see one variation of the hybrids with the angled back kind of skull. Okay, if you look on every single continent, especially China, if you go to China, you find elongated skulled mummies with blonde hair and red hair. That would be one, and that would be the Annuna.
Can I ask how long this is going to last? Is it going to be like a single catalysm, or is it going to be like a series of escalating events?
It will be a lot of things all at once. It'll be a lot like those doomsday movies, and it's going to happen a lot fast. It's not that initial event you need to worry about, because I promise, you get underground, you get in a bunker, you get deep in a cave, you will survive. Stay above 5,000 feet, below 12,000 feet in altitude. Okay, this is totally survivable. It is not the end of the world. We absolutely can make it. What we need to be concerned about are the logistics in the long term. Okay, being able to grow food, being able to have clean water, being able to have shelter, and your children. If you want chosen people, choose the children. This is the legacy of our planet. I don't care what species you are. I don't care what kind of hybrid you are. We are all in this together. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care if you go to mosque, temple, or church. We need to come together as a planet, as multiple species, and help each other. You can't do it as one person top dogging everything. It is a lose-lose scenario, and no species can save an entire planet. It is unreasonable. The Annuna themselves had to evacuate last time. In fact, there's a section written down where Enki is asking King Anu. He asked them, can you do anything to stop the evil winds? And Anu said no. We just didn't have that capability for a colony. So this is what's happening again. The evil winds are not an attack. When the planet got hit last time, there are uranium deposits on this planet. It causes a radioactive wave that causes physical cellular mutations. If you look across the planet, you see sections where there are burnt and melted stone. That is 2,000 to 3,000 degrees to get that to melt. In addition to the radiation that washed across the planet and caused mutations globally. This is going to happen again. We cannot calculate to what exact degree, because all of this is entangled with a quantum paradox event. And as crazy as all of this is going to sound, it gets a little bit crazier, because we're going to dip into the Mandela effects and those glitches in the matrix and that time-space thing, you know, where time is changing, it's slowing down, speeding up, being erratic. That's part of this. We are going, this is how he explained it to me. Good. He didn't finish explaining time travel. So Earth got hit 10,000 years ago. The asteroids came in, and as the planet was impacted, it tilted. Okay, which put Giza where it is today. It tilted, and it tilted so much it changed the pole star. Polaris was not the pole star. Vega was. Egypt is not lined up to Orion. It just ended up there.
Well,
so
yeah, I find that hard though, because it's quite precise how it is lined up now. So if someone's going to knock it, how, you know, if you've got an asteroid knocking the Earth, how can you predict where it's going to end up?
We can't. That was the part of it. And as far as this, you literally go look at the science. Literally. The Polaris was the pole star. The reason all of the ancient world knows about Sirius is because Sirius used to rise over the equator. If you go back 12,000 years, you find out Polaris was not the pole star. And there were 4 pyramids. There's a total of 6 pyramids. That doesn't line up to Orion's belt. There are factually 6 pyramids. One of those is only a foundation. The Black Pyramid was destroyed. The 4 pyramids of Egypt used to be the big white one, which is a power plant. Okay, we found that out. It's been confirmed. It's not spiritual. Nothing on the Giza Plateau is spiritual. It is an industrial complex. These spiritual meanings that people have assigned are incorrect, like the Ankh. Ankh is a key. It's a key that turns on the pyramid. because the pyramid's a power plant. It doesn't have anything to do about some mystical concept of life and reincarnation. It's a key, man. It's just a house key.
Hey, so what are your plans now? Obviously, you've reached out to myself. What's your kind of mission now, I guess?
I hunker down because our job is to rebuild civilization. So that's what I do after this. This is why I'm telling you guys, this isn't the end of the world. This is this, and it is survivable. Now, it is called apocalypse because it is a point of transformation. Unfortunately, the rest of that equation got lost as far as the Abrahamic traditions. If you go to the Yuga cycle, we are currently in the point where the Kali Yuga has ended. This is the transition point before the next cycle begins. The transition points are the worst. Okay, but people survive. The planet survives. If people get prep supplies, get a water filter, find a location, check your flood zones, stay away from the big fault lines. What I'm saying is that people need to prep. It's not I'm sorry, it's not going to be pretty. And a lot of people aren't going to like this message. So I'm going to tell you, don't pay anybody. Don't send me money. I'm not selling anything. You need 5 fingers. It's not AI. Okay. Besides, one of my fingers does that. So it's not.
Can you speak Sumerian or the language?
I can speak some Akkadian. That is the language they speak. Akkadian.
Could you give us a little bit of that, maybe?
Yes. It's probably not the best thing I should say. The Annuna have slang, and it's kind of like telling someone, if you don't stop, you fucking asshole, I'm going to hit you.
I'll have to learn that one then, because I could use that every day at work.
That'd be quite handy.
That's why I'm like, yes, but it's not the best. I'm not entirely fluent, and I mainly know cuss words.
So where's your source of knowledge? Is it dreams? Is it things get put into your head? Where does all this knowledge come from then? How do you know this is 100% certain to happen?
Enki started, don't worry, I did the same thing. I had the same questions because when I met Enki, I had no idea who he was or what his deal was. I'm just like, okay, so you're an alien, right? Yeah, that was my response. And I told them, okay, prove it. Prove everything, because I'm not buying this. And they did. And it started with the genealogy, so that's sentimental stuff. But it started with the genealogy. It was crazy. It progressed from there because Enki was telling me, stop taking the Western medicine, stop taking the chemicals, change the way you eat. And this has been 5 years now. So the first year I was like, you guys are full of shit. Absolutely. And he started going, okay, we're just going to drop everything in your lab. So the knowledge that he had been teaching me, I just kind of went, okay. So I listened to him. I heard him out. And it started hitting that point where artifacts and archaeological sites were coming up. Yashrupak, he's telling me I'm related to Noah. I'm like, dude, I'm pagan. I am not related to anybody in the Bible. No. I'm related to Noah. And he's the one who pointed that out. So as I'm telling him, you got to prove it. Well, he pops up Eridu. He pops up Shrupak. These Jalisco and Tula artifacts. There are thousands of them. They are still being dug up. They've been dug up for 10 years. These artifacts in themselves show the previous evacuation, show the advanced civilization. They show multiple species. And that's the majority of what's I put in the folder, because these are artifacts carbon dated, C14 dating, which I put up the test results for that, out of an Italian lab. 17,795 BC is the oldest date we have now. And now they're getting fuzzy because they're getting too old on the dating. So we need to move to the radioisotopes. Bottom line is, there was a colony here with multiple species. It went by many different names. Atlantis was just one. The documented history is extensive, and everybody on Earth knows they came from aliens. It doesn't matter who you talk to. Pick a tribe, any tribe. Oh yeah, we came from Star People. Oh, the Star People came, the Ant Brothers, the Snake Brothers, the White Brothers. Everybody knows. We just forgot.
So, okay, would you consent to like a full genomic sequencing to analyze for non-human
Yes.
markers?
I would consent. Okay, look, not with government people poking.
Totally with you on that. Yeah, it'd have to be someone you trust and someone that has the qualifications to actually do it.
Listen,
I have
that'd be amazing.
I have thought about that with the biohacking people. I'm sorry to cut you off. I've thought about that with the biohacking people because my DNA would be very distinctly unique. I'm Syrian and Annunaki. So it's not that we don't have any hints of it. We do have bodies of hybrids from Earth. So it's not inconceivable. And it's, like I said, there's going to be others like me. Now, Camp Lejeune will add a very distinct signature of radioisotopes, because you don't get exposed to 83 times safe amount of radiation in utero without a marker. Now, for those many people, I'm sure, don't know about Camp Lejeune. So just to explain real quick, Camp Lejeune is in North Carolina. It is a joint Marine and Navy base. They didn't explain why, but basically you only need 30 days on Camp Lejeune to develop one of 24 currently the list is 24. These are the conditions that include 7 different types of cancers, neurological conditions, blah, blah, blah. It goes on down the line. You can look on the Veterans Administration American website for a full list and the entire explanation with the breakdown. Many people were born there and many died, a great many, because this is not something that is normally tolerable. So yes, I would absolutely consent to having a full spectrum genetic sequencing done. So why didn't we go to the government first? Excuse me, it is the government. It's just, it's not like they're trustworthy. So,
okay, listen, this has been really good. I really appreciate your time. I want to keep the interview to an hour, so we'll finish up soon. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload it unedited. I'll just crop it a little bit. I don't want to do any editing. I want to upload it to, as it is, so people can hear your message. And I think I'd like to arrange another one, if possible.
We will. It would have been so nice to be able to do this like a series and do this gently, but we're past that point. I will keep with you as much as I can, because, and I mean that on Yellowstone is rumbling. Based on the triangulations I'm doing and looking at the data, I I don't want to freak anybody out, okay? But we are looking at potential activity in the next 4 to 5 days. This is of global concern. If Yellowstone goes off, we are going into a much sooner ice age than expected. We absolutely will be going into an ice age. The main thing I need people to understand is to prepare themselves for this. It is not an if and or but, and it will not be in 30 years. Keep their money, buy their supplies, and prep. That is the main thing I need. I hope people will take from this. This is about to get very bad. You don't need to be blowing your money on frivolous things. Don't buy into the distractions. The first thing people should do is get online and educate themselves on how to survive in a type of situation like this. That's what they need to do.
Matt, have you got any final questions?
I have got a few more, but we can do it another time for sure. Leave it with the
Sure.
hour. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, I can't judge. I don't know. It would be great for you to give your genome sequencing to science and let's see if they can find something. That's the only way we can see what's inside you, really, and whether you're telling us the truth. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to speak to anybody. Thank you, Matt, for inviting me up to join you.
Thanks, Matt.
And if in 4 days something does happen, I think we'll be calling you quite quickly for a part 2, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's please keep an eye on it, because if you guys in the UK see, or anywhere outside of the United States, if you see the United States pop, please put yourself in gear and get yourself safe.
I live on a hill, so I'm quite lucky, but I don't know if it's big enough. But thank you. Let's call it an end now, and appreciate your time, Kishara, and thanks, Matt, for joining me.
No worries.
And let's chat again. And also, just to refer to, you've done is it a Dropbox folder with various documents? Can you prepare that for us, and we'll share the link?
On that, I want to say
QR code.
Is the word. On the posting, I added 5 additional links to find different ways, because Google Drive was being non-cooperative. I added Dropbox links, direct links, documents, and images.
Thank you. I'll share those. Okay. Thank you both. Enjoy your afternoons and evening. I'll upload this tonight. Thank you very much.
Here's Matt.
Okay.
Here's
Good,
Keith.
Matt. Thank you. Take
See you on
care.
the next one.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.